The number of former students now claiming they were sexually abused by Ohio State Dr. Richard Strauss is now up to about 350. Thanks for joining us tonight at 11. I'm Mark Taylor.
I'm Colleen Marshall. Since beginning our series on the culture of cover-up at OSU, the question I hear most often is how did it go on for 2 decades with no one stopping him? The victims themselves may have part of the answer. Either no one believed them or the victim thought he was the only one and he kept quiet. Dan Ritchie is one of the men who kept his secret for 25 years, but he is now one of the first to emerge from behind a wall of silence.
And to come to Ohio State as a scholarship athlete was amazing. And to think that I had the ability to compete at that level was, I was excited.
But excitement gave way to shock because Dan Ritchie, on a full-ride wrestling scholarship to a university that was bigger than his hometown, was molested by the team doctor on his very first day on campus.
That moment for a lot of us was a grooming period for him to be able to kind of scope out the next guy or the next kid.
And he says Strauss did not hide his interest in the guys. He showered with them, often pleasuring himself in front of the wrestlers and members of the men's gymnastics team.
And usually their practice would end before ours, and they'd be done, coming out of the showers, we're coming down. And we would see Dr. Strauss coming out of the showers, and he'd see us coming down the stairs. He'd do a U-turn, go right back into the showers, and stay in there from the first guy to the last guy.
Didn't anybody adult who was responsible for you young men see that?
They had to have.
And with each physical exam, each encounter Ritchie had with Strauss, the doctor was more aggressive until, during his 3rd year on the team, Dan separated his shoulder.
And that examination progressed to a point where it had never been before. And, you know, as a young man, my first response was to run.
He walked away from his full-ride scholarship and quit the team.
That feeling, the feeling of embarrassment or shame has been with me my entire life since then.
When news of the Strauss investigation broke nearly 2 years ago, Ritchie finally knew he was not alone. For the first time, he shared his story with his wife and then tried to tell his parents.
And unfortunately, we got into an argument because at the time, Jim Jordan was in line for Speaker of the House. And we are conservatives, we're Republicans. My father is, you know, very political. And his concern was, how is this going to affect Jim Jordan?
Jordan, now a congressman, was then an assistant wrestling coach. Walking away from his wrestling scholarship had already damaged Dan's relationship with his father.
Wasn't listening. And it got to a point where I'm like, it has nothing to do with Jim Jordan. I don't care about Jim Jordan. I'm trying to tell you something. And his argument back was, well, maybe Jim didn't know. I'm like, of course Jim knew. Everybody knew.
It must have been a knife to your heart that your dad was more concerned about Jim Jordan than you.
It's still something my wife and I talk about, but I can't stress the support my wife has given me throughout this entire thing. I mean, she's been my rock through this.
Congressman Jordan's office would not respond to questions for this story, referring me to their earlier statement that Jordan knew nothing about Strauss abusing students. Ritchie and his wife have 3 sons of their own who will one day be college students. If your sons come to you with a story like this, will you believe them?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, who would make it up?
What would you like to see happen now?
I would like to see Ohio State be accountable. And from what I understand, I think they would like this just to go away. And I don't think it's going to go away. I know the people who are involved in this won't let it go away.
Because more than 300 men have filed lawsuits against the university, no one can comment for this story, but President Michael Drake has publicly condemned the actions of Dr. Strauss, and the university has committed to a financial settlement. No one in power at OSU now was there during the Strauss years. He retired in 1998 and committed suicide in 2005. To hear more interviews from the survivors and learn more about the investigations into Strauss, our stories on the culture of cover-up can be found at NBC4i.com.